Okay, and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk about things you take to the field, and actually in the next series of videos is going to be about all the things that I take to the field when I go flying. And the first thing you got to think about is, what are you going to carry all this stuff in? When I did the series of videos about the Nexstar aircraft, I explained how this works, which is the Master Caddy flight box from Great Plains. It's a really good flight box. It has several features that I like about it. Good place for the fuel, place for your starter, place for the battery for the starter, and places for tools, both here and in top, and it works very well. Plus, the key thing about this is you got a place to put your aircraft to assemble it, put on the wing, disassemble it, fix it, whatever you need to do. And so, but it also depends upon what's at the field that you're going to fly at. As you saw with my maiden flight and the pre-flight videos a couple of videos ago, you saw that we had very good workbenches, shelters, and stands to start the airplane on and so forth. Many fields don't have that much stuff, so I'm very fortunate for that field. In fact, there's more than one field I fly at, and for another field that I fly at, I like to use this one because there are no tables, there are no chairs. There are some flight stations and flight tables where you can start your engine and so forth, but there's nothing else. And so having a box like this sitting in the back of a truck or a car or whatever to help you assemble and so forth is a great item. But I want to show you something different that I use most of the time when I go to the field that you saw in my maiden flights. Okay, and this is a bag that you can get at both Tower Hobbies and Horizon Hobbies. It's from Wing Tote, and it's a flight bag. I like it because it's lighter. I don't need the heavier stand that you just saw. But in fact, if I do need a stand, I also use the Ernst Ultra Stand. That's what it looks like in a package. And this is what it looks like set up. And the Ernst Ultra Stand, first off, is extremely light. It's got these cushioned edges on it and little clips here to hold them on. And they also double as a place to put the aircraft in the back of your car. I have an SUV, and so I can put 2 or 3 of these in the back of my SUV with the seats folded down and carry 3 airplanes in there. And so this is a good substitute for, or these 2 things are a good substitute for the flight box that you saw. So what can you do with this? I'll be back in just a minute to show you all the things that I put in this and how they go in and so forth. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to show you everything that goes in my bag here. First off, the bag has 2 of these things in it, and these are little pieces of Velcro here, and there's a strip of Velcro inside here. And if you look in there, you can see I've got one of these dividers that goes across here. Okay, Velcro on this side and Velcro on this side is holding it in place, and that allows me to put the gallon of fuel right here in front. Okay, and then the hand pump just sits there just like that. Okay, so what's going to go inside here? Well, let's see here. On the bottom, I start with my gloves. You've seen me use these gloves before. They go in the bottom because they go nice and easy down there. Okay. The other thing you've seen me use out at the field is this flight pad. I get these from a website and a phone number. You can just email this guy right here, and he'll send one to you. I bought one last year. This is the second one I've had. I have two of them, one and a spare, and I actually let some of my students use the spare. So that goes in here just like that. Okay, and then you've seen this before too. This is what I'm using to start the airplane with, and it's got room for two glow drivers, and that's the new glow driver, not the old one. And so that just goes in there just like that. Okay, and sits down in there on the bottom. And so what else we got? In the back here, I like to have two things. Back here, I like to have a box of tools and a large wrench and a couple of Sharpie markers and stuff like that. Okay, so that goes down there. Okay, and then I also have a box that has all of my wire connectors and my voltage meter and my LiPo checker and a spare LiPo battery for my starter and a few things like that. That goes nice and neatly right here. Okay. And then around on the other side, I've got two pockets. And they're quite handy to put. First I have a large box of screwdrivers, an extra pair of forceps, English and metric hex drivers, and stuff like that. And so that just easily fits down right there. Okay. And then on top of that, I have a small box full of spare glow plugs and some wrenches, spare hex wrenches for the engine, and some spare fuel tubing and stuff like that. So that just sits in there just like that. Okay. And oops, wait a minute, that doesn't go there. Sorry, that one doesn't go there. That's why it didn't fit. It goes right there. Okay. And on top of this one, I have my RPM for the propeller. Measures 2, 3, and 4 bladed props and measures the RPM. So that's what sits on the top of this one. And on the other side, I have my Hanger 9 variable load voltage checker. Very important when you use this every day when you first get to the field to make sure the voltage of the battery is good. And it applies I usually apply a 1/2 amp load to the battery, make sure it doesn't drop too far. And that one sits right there. Okay, and that closes up. And then back on the other side here, I got a few other things. This big large zipper side here is great for putting I have some easy to grab Phillips and regular size screwdrivers. By the way, this is my second bag, and all this stuff has come out of my first bag just to show you what's going on. I just decided I'd buy a spare bag. Okay, and then oh yeah, my 7/16 dedicated hex driver is for screwing the bolts in, and I just sort of put this right here on the other side there because that makes it easy to grab when I need it at the field. Okay. Also have a box of wing bolts and other miscellaneous screws that let's see, they go right inside with this one. Okay. So that goes on that side right there. All right. And in here, I also have my glow plug wrench and some spare Velcro, and that's about it on this. Okay. And then on the front here, I have there's a pocket in front here that's quite handy to have my squirt bottle for my isopropyl alcohol, and my overflow tank, and a rag for cleaning the airplane when you're done at the end of the day. And then also on the outside here, I keep a pair of forceps handy, because I use the forceps to do the check of whether the engine's running lean or rich, and I'll explain that in a subsequent video. The other thing I carry sometimes, not all the time, but most of the time, a spare tank. The purpose of the spare tank is to empty the fuel out of the tank in the airplane and then put it back in if you want, just to actually measure exactly how much fuel is being used. So that fits nicely in there. And this zips closed, and you have a very handy, oh yeah, one more thing. I have a chicken stick. If you've never seen a chicken stick before, this is what you call the chicken stick. This allows you to flip the prop without hurting your fingers. And actually that chicken stick goes right in there. So with this and a radio and an airplane, you can go flying. Now I carry a few more things, and I may explain that later in a subsequent video. But this is the essentials. For example, I always carry a fire extinguisher and a few other things, and I'll show you that bag at some point. It's not this bag that this carries with, but I have a different bag that carries a fair number of other, what I'll call non-essential stuff, but handy to have at the field. So that's what's in the wing tote bag, and I use it every time I go flying. Thank you. Just as an extra thing, this is the real bag I use, set up the same way. I also have, I forgot I even had it on here, this is a 1/2-inch wrench, which is the right size for tightening a prop nut. And so that just hangs there just in case I need it. And now I'm going to put all this stuff back in here. See you later.